Yeah, we're getting closer. Have you carved a pumpkin yet? Make sure you do this weekend. Yeah, carve a pumpkin. Tell your parents, let's do some pumpkin carving. Because Halloween's coming up. Woo! Yeah. So we're working on 3.3 right now. 3.3. So that's me. There we go. Make sure we're still recording. Okay, good. Okay, so don't forget PEMDAS. Still, ACTs are coming up. Don't forget PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, right? Exponents. Oh, interesting. Do we also go left to right or no? Good question. So that's 49. We also have divided by 7 next. So parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division. Interesting. Should we see what it is on the calculator with lots of parentheses? So 5 plus 7 squared is 49. So then we have 49 divided by 7. Oh, interesting. And then times 3. I'm not sure if that's right. I think it is. I think it is. But what if we go ahead and put parentheses? Because it's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, then division, but interesting. So that's definitely 26. Interesting. So it's not 49 divided by 21, huh? Interesting. Remember, order of operations. We also go from left to right. So, but then we do have to do, so it is left to right as well. Left to right. But then also PEMDAS as well. Interesting. So 49 divided by 7 is 7. 7 times 3 is 21. And then 5 plus 21 is 26. So we do get 26 is our answer. Get a common denominator. Get a common denominator for number 2. Let's see, number 3. So probably distribute the 2 through first. So you get a 2L plus 2W. And then minus the 2W and divide by 2. Solve for L. Okay, so number 5, good. So we have 0 is x equals 1, but that's a multiplicity 2. Do you remember what that means? So we go to minus 1, minus 1. So we get x minus 1 equals, 1 minus 1 is a 0, because that goes away. And then that's back in factored form, way-o. And so we get x minus 1, multiplicity 2 means all squared, okay? And we also add 4, and so we get x plus 4. Whoa, 4 got back with their x, whoa! Equals 0. And then we put that in parentheses. So the reason why I did that, you guys, the reason why I did that is put it in standard form, factored form, but also because I wanted to see what the end behavior was, right? End behavior. And since I have x squared and I have x to the first power, that's going to be x to the third power, way-o. And it's also positive, way-o. So that means if it's positive and it's odd, that means it's going to be down here and up here, right? So we're going to go from to the left, we're at negative infinity, to the right, we're going up to positive infinity. End behavior, down then up. Okay, so then we do our x-intercepts, or zeros, which again was at x equals 1, as well as x equals negative 4. Okay, so we also want to know which one bounces. And since we have a 2 for the x equals 1, remember opposite sign, so the power 2 is even, and so that means we're going to bounce at x equals 1. And then x plus 4, right? So x plus 4 has an invisible 1. X plus 4 has an invisible 1 there. And so that's odd power. And so that means cross through. Okay, let's do it. So a negative 4, right? Because you said equal to 0, and you get a negative 4. So we're going to cross through, right? Well, do you know what the y-intercept is? We could actually find the y-intercept, you guys, right? So the y-intercept is the n numbers, and so that's a negative 1 as well as that's a negative 1 as well as a 2, and so negative 1 squared times 4 to the first power, and so negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. 4 to the first power is 4. So we actually are going to have a 4 for the y-intercept. Way-o! So we're going to go ahead, carry on. So we go up here till we hit the 4, and then we bounce. And there we go. There's our graph. There's our answer for number 5. Way-o! Do you know how to bounce? Do you know when to bounce? Do you know when to cross through? Right? Bounce is even power, like 2, 4, 6. Odd, 1, 3, 5 is a cross through. Okay, so then number 7 is review. So I won't spend too long on this because you should know how to do this by now, right? So we do plug it in. Plug in a 3. So we get 3 squared minus 1 is 9 minus 1 is 8. And then plus g to the third power, that's 3 minus 2. And 3 minus 2 is a 1. Way-o! So we should get a 9. Should get a 9 there. Yeah, should get a 9 there. Good. Okay, so then number 9, you're going to multiply those together. Do you remember how to do that? Our final exam, quarter 1 final exam's coming up. You got to still remember how to do these unit 1 things. Keep on learning, keep on remembering. Try each one on your own. Pause me, try number 9 on your own. Pause me. Try it on your own. Pause me. I'm waiting. Did you pause me? So we have x squared minus 1, right? X squared minus 1 times g of x, which is x minus 2. Way-o! So you're just going to distribute those through. So x squared times x is x, add the powers, cubed. Try it on your own. X squared times negative 2 is a negative 2x squared. Negative 1 times x is a negative 1x. And negative 1 times negative 2 is a positive 2. Yeah, that's how we do it. Times those together. Number 11, try 10. You remember how to do 10? Distribute the negative. Number 11, you have to pull out the I first. So pull out an I, so we get 3I radical 6 times, pull out the I, 7I radical 2. Now we can multiply them. So 3I times 7I is 21I squared. What does I squared mean again? Do you remember what I squared means? Yep, it becomes a negative 1. So 21 times negative 1 is a negative 21. We can multiply 6 times 2 in the radical, just like we did outside the radical. And 6 times 2 is 12. And 12 breaks down into 4 times 3, individually square rooted. And the square root of 4 is 2. And so then we get negative 21 times 2 times radical 3, which is negative 42. Radical 3. Nice. That was a toughie. That was a toughie. Yeah, don't forget, I times I is I squared, becomes a negative 1. Don't forget to seashell that sucker. Seashell it. So number 13, we're going to still remind you how to graph, and then we'll do inequalities. So you got a factor. What can you pull out? What's the GCF? So we'll pull out an x squared, pull out an x squared. Good. So x to the 4th, pull out an x squared. So we divide by x squared, multiply by x squared. We still need that GCF because that's one of our x-intercepts. Good. So then we pull out an x squared there. Good. And so x 4th, take away x squared is just x squared minus The x squareds cancel, leaving us with the minus 9. So we have an x squared as a factor. We have x squared minus 9 as a factor. Wait a second, that's a difference of squares. It could factor more. Pause me. Pause me. Do you remember how to factor more? So that factors into x and x. 9 factors into 3 and 3. There's no middle terms, so the signs have to be opposite, right? And then bring down our x squared. And so that x squared has a multiplicity of 2, right? We said each one equal to 0. So our first of all, our end behavior. What's our end behavior? Then we'll look at our x-intercepts. So our end behavior has to do with the highest power, like our degree, and well, if it's positive or negative in front. So it's a positive x to the 4 or even power. And so that means up, up. Right? That means up, up. So we are going to be going up, and we are going to be going up. Okay, now we do our x-intercepts. So we bring this one down. So we have x squared equals 0. We square root both sides. And the square root of 0 is plus or minus 0. There is no plus or minus 0, it's just 0. So it's 0, but you remember that it's an even power. It's an even power, right? X to the squared. And so it's an even power. And so that means it's going to bounce. Right? Because x squared was a factor. Even power means make it bounce. At 0, make it bounce. Okay, next we have x plus 3 equals 0. Minus 3 to the other side. So we have an x-intercept in negative 3. Negative 3, way-o. And it came from an invisible 1. And that invisible 1, as well as this one, means to cross through. So we are going to cross through. And the reason, again, why we're crossing through is that we had x plus 3 to the first power, which means cross through. As well as the other one, the other x-intercept. And so the x-intercept, you said equal to 0, add 3 to the other side. And so we get x equals 3, and that's our other x-intercept. And we are going to cross through. Cross through because of the 1. 1 means to cross through. Okay, let's put it all together. Way-o. So at negative 3, we're going to cross through. At 0, we're going to bounce. And then at 3, we're going to cross through. Make it smooth and curvy. Way-o. And our y-intercept was at 0. We did it right. So try number 14 on your own now. Pull out the GCF. Pull out the GCF. And then try 16 on your own. Let's try 15 together. So we have to multiply the x's through with their powers to get the end behavior. So first of all, notice we have a negative. Second of all, notice that we have an x to the first power times x to the third power times x squared. Whoa! And so to find the end behavior, we have to multiply all that out, add the powers. So we get negative x, 1 plus 3 plus 2 is on 4, 5, 6. Right? So it's negative x to the even power, which means, what's the end behavior? Down, down. Even means both together, either up or down. And it's negative, so down, down. Good. Okay, so now we need our x-intercepts. So again, we have an x plus 3 to the first power. We have an x plus 1 to the third power. And we have an x minus 4 to the second power. Right? So the 2 means to bounce. And the cross through is if it's odd. So we have an x equals negative 3, change the sign. Remember, set equal to 0, minus 3 to the other side. Change the sign. And that's a cross through. Then we also have an x equals negative 1, and that's also a cross through. And then change the sign. X equals not negative 4, but a positive 4. And because of the 2, because of the 2, we're going to bounce. Okay, so we have -3, we have -1, and we have a +4. And then our end behavior is down, 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 down. So at -3, what are we going to do? We're going to cross through. Good. At -1, we're going to cross through as well. We get a y-intercept. Share with you what that is in a second. And then at 4, we're going to bounce. Whoa, we're going to bounce. And so that's our right graph. We did it. Now we do have a y-intercept, a little tricky, but you're supposed to multiply the n numbers. So you're supposed to multiply the 3 and the 1 to the 3rd power, and the -4 squared. So for the y-intercept, the y-intercept, you have 3 to the 1st power. It's the n numbers, not the x's, the n numbers and their powers. So 3 to the 1st power times 1 to the 3rd power times, careful now, -4 to the 2nd power. So 3 times 1 times 1 times 1 is just 3. So 3 times -4 is 6. Ooh, so -4 times -4 is 16. 3 times 16 is 48. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, wait. There was a negative in the front. I forgot the negative in the front. So we do have a negative in the front. We'll make that purple. There's a negative in the front, negative in the front. And that's going to change it to -48. Way-oh. And so that's our y-intercept at -48. Nice. Okay, next video. Thanks for watching. See you in a second. Thanks for watching. Keep on trying. You got this.